A big news is coming from the Middle East, where Syria's new leader or president, we can say Al-Sharaa, has arrived in the United States of America for the historic visit and is going to meet with Donald Trump, second time after coming in power as such. Now, who is Al-Sharaa? What is the significance of this visit of Syrian President US, and how it is going to reset ties between US and Syria, which has been kind of non-existent since last many decades as such. Let us try to understand this in more detail. Now, first of all, to give you a background of this particular personality, Ahmed al-Sharaa, he was the main rebel leader who ousted Bashar al-Assad in the year 2024. We know that since many decades, Syria was under the clutches of Assad family. Before Bashar al-Assad, it was his father, Hafiz al-Assad, who used to rule Syria. And then Bashar al-Assad was kind of, we can say, anti-American in nature because he enjoyed strong support and strong collaboration with Iran and then further Russia as such. Interim government that is now formed after the ouster of al-Assad by al-Sharaa is something that has been recognized already by the international community. Also, al-Sharaa has discussed that now within new administration or with the help of new administration, Syria is going to see a new sunrise, and that will be where the authoritarian rule will finally come to an end. Historically, if you look, it is the first Syria-US presidential level engagement that we have witnessed in 79 years, and that itself sends a strong message the what kind of this event, what kind of importance this particular event has. Assad regime, as we know, it has ended after 50 years of preparation, and that is why the new administration led by Hafiz al-Sharaa seems to be aligning more with Western countries, as they also believe that it was Russia who, to large extent, has helped Bashar al-Assad in carrying out his repressive tactics and policies as such. Now, we know that as far as the US engagement is concerned, it has already begun since Sharaa took the office, and the first Trump-Sharaa meeting is going to take place at the White House. Previous meeting already has taken place in the Saudi Arabia, where in the May month 2025 in the Riyadh city, we see meeting between these two leaders as such. Overall, the focus is, because you know that if you go back in 2013-14, due to the civil war like situation and the internal strife, ethnic disturbance, ethnic classes, we have seen emergence of ISIS, that is Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, a terrorist group that emerged and began to basically take control of this entire area. So somewhere it is believed by experts that US-Syria relationship will also focus on anti-ISIS cooperation and also to ensure regional security, because it also provides a very good opportunity for the United States of America, as the Iran's what we call as influence in Syria has waned to a large extent, because al-Assad was a staunchest supporter of Iran and ally of Iran. So US removed. Because of this development also, US has taken this into consideration, and earlier Sharaa was member of a terrorist organization and he was put under a terror list. Now his name has been removed in the month of November 2025, so that he can easily come and visit United States of America as such. Now this also is recognition of the progress that we are seeing in Syria under the new Syrian leadership, and overall it sent a clear message that US is willing to take a step toward normalization of the relationship between Syria and US, and also to create a regional stability as such. It is because of the influence of Iran in Syria, we have seen a large scale violence overall erupting as far as this particular region is concerned. Now, if we try to understand what are the regions for the US policy shift, we can look at the cooperation in locating missing Americans, because in the brutal regime of Bashar al-Assad, many Americans who were working in this particular area, Syria, and even in the neighboring regions, they have been kidnapped. So where are they located? Can we trace them? That is the effort of the United States. Second, also it was believed that Bashar al-Assad has a stockpile of chemical weapon, and not only he had a stockpile, he also used such weapons on his own citizens, and that is why the other effort where US is going to work is to dismantle such new chemical weapons stockpile as such. And apart from that, commitment overall to inclusive Syrian-led political process seems to be emerging out from this entire discussion. Now, before moving further, I want to bring attention to the fact that Legacy IAS Academy, we are going to soon commence batches. The batches are going to start on 10th of November and 15th of December. This is going to be regular weekday batches where class will be held every day from 10 to 5. Then we also have weekend batches where it will start on 6th of December as such. Now, in this Entire course program, we ensure that we have comprehensive coverage of GS paper, one-to-one mentorship and doubt solving session, regular interaction with educators, daily mains and writing practice, test series for prelims and mains also is what we have included, because student has to be aware about strength and weaknesses, and that is only possible if they are participating in test and then they are getting the required feedback. If you want to know more detail about the course programs, features and everything, you can give a call to the number being displayed here. You can also click the link in the description box of this particular video. Now coming back to this particular topic, basically if you talk about the Syria itself, it has seen a massive transformation not only at administrative level but also at the general population level, because many times when the media personalities went to Syria, they began to talk with people. We can see a large scale contentment and happiness was there, because now they finally feel free after the clutches of authoritarian regime was removed from the Syria as such. So Shara, who was an ex-jihadist, earlier he used to be part of Al-Qaeda itself, then he created his own organization called as HTS, and then he now has become what he refer himself as a reformist statesman. Reformist statesman, now we can see the clear-cut differences also. This is a photograph taken from the time when he was part of the STS group and before that Al-Qaeda group, and now you can see the first photo that we have seen in the slide. You can see that how he has transformed not only his ideology but also his image as such, to have more acceptability, and also the regime's legitimacy can further be enhanced as well. So he was a former STS group. Now he was delisted as terrorist organization. STS group itself was delisted as terrorist organization, and overall now after taking power, his effort has been to rebuild his image both at the home as well as abroad as such. As far as UN and international standing is concerned, the first UN General Assembly address by Syrian leader we have seen in a decade. He was there in the recent UN General Assembly also, and since Bashar al-Assad was not accepted as a legitimate ruler of Syria, he did not visit this UN General Assembly session for many years as such. Also, because of these developments, Syria was one of the heavily sanctioned countries. If you talk about, apart from North Korea, you have Iran and Russia as such. So UN has lifted the sanctions in the November 2025. So both we can understand, both Al-Sharaa as well as Syria are now free of sanctions and such. And overall, the diplomatic legitimacy not only between US and Syria we can say, but also we have seen many of the European leaders have accepted Al-Sharaa as a legitimate ruler. They have arranged meeting with them, and we have seen meeting between the German foreign ministers and Al-Sharaa also in the past few months. Now, overall, if you look at the effort that is needed to ensure that Syria become a region of stability, is the focus should be on reconstruction and economic goal is going to be a major part of it, because you know that in the decades of civil war that we have witnessed in Syria, where we have the Syria was kind of, we can say, a proxy ground for war between American-led forces, Russian-led forces, and even Iran was operating there. So due to this massive destruction we have seen in the entire Syria, the economy has been kind of decimated as such, and that is why post-war, as far as the World Bank's estimate is concerned, it is about $216 billion of investment is required if we want to rebuild Syria so that economic situation can improve. Shara's objective while he is meeting Donald Trump would also be to seek financial aid and reconstruction fund and focus on humanitarian and infrastructure recovery as soon as possible. Now, obviously, this has strategic implications because US is also willing to establish its military base near Damascus for aid coordination, and also its own base for the humanitarian base also we can say, and that also will be a beneficial for US, because now Russia, who used to have military bases in Syria, now their control in this area will see a complete decline, because Al-Assad was pro-Russia as such. There is going to be a boost to regional peace and stability, and overall we can say in conclusion that it seems that though it is very early, but new Syria seems to be emerging, where we are having a moderate, cooperative and internationally engaged policy that is being seen and reflected in the new government's administration policy as such. That is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with fellow aspirants, and subscribe channel for more such content. Thank you very much.